First test, the whole peg test. The patient is seated at a table with a small container holding 9 pegs on a wood or plastic block containing 9 empty holes. On the start command indicated by the examiner when a stopwatch is started, the patient picks up each of the 9 pegs one at a time as quickly as possible and puts them on the block. Once all the pegs are in the holes, the patient removes them as quickly as possible one at a time, replacing them in the container. Total time is recorded. 2 consecutive trials with the non-dominant hand should be immediately followed by the 2 consecutive trials with the dominant hand. Pegs can be put in any order in the different holes. If the patient drops a peg, she needs to put it back in the container. The MYO logo is placed on the midpoint of the patient's arm.
Ready, set, go now.
Ready, set, go.
And then when you finished, without any pause, you take them down immediately.
The finger tapping test. The patient's index and thumb of the dominant hand are fully extended while the other fingers are opened. On the start command indicated by the examiner, when a stopwatch is started, the patient taps his/her index against his/her thumb as fast as he/she can during 10 seconds. The number of taps is recorded. 2 trials with the dominant hand should be performed. The elbow should be placed on the table to limit fatigue. The other finger should be opened. Ready, start, go.
Probably
Good. The finger to nose test. The patient's arm is initially fully extended. Eyes are closed. On the start command indicated by the examiner, the patient touches the tip of his/her nose with the tip of his/her index finger. The patient's arm returns to starting position. This motion should be performed 5 times the dominant arm, then 5 times the non-dominant arm. 2 consecutive trials with the non-dominant arm should be immediately followed by 2 consecutive trials with the dominant arm. The severity of the tremor, or dysmetria, should be recorded. The patient is told to choose his pace as long as he/she feels in control.
Patients would do like this, and some patients would do like this.
Yeah.
So I would do like this if I was patient. And with your eyes closed, of course.
But there you have the nerve status video.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I stop the recording.
Okay. The foot tapping test. The patient sits on a chair with his/her feet touching the floor. The patient heel stays on the floor, toes are up in the air. On the start command indicated by the examiner when the stopwatch is started, the patient foot tapped the floor 20 times as quickly as possible and returned to initial position. Total time is recorded. 2 consecutive trials with the non-dominant foot should be immediately followed by 2 consecutive trials with the dominant foot. The patient is told to strongly tap the floor in order to make sounds to help the examiner counting. His hip angle and knee angle should be 90 degrees. The MYO device should be placed on the lower part of the calf. The MYO logo placed on the anterior border of the tibia.
Between the hip and the torso and 90 degrees in
I will
the
just give you an update of the decisions.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then if you see the position, and if you feel it,
Yeah, and then
it's on the top of the
yeah, here we go.
tibia bone.
Top of the tibia.
Yeah. And in the right position, I hope. It's been a long time since I did it. And then I would just say, ready, set, go.
Ready, set, go.
And you get really exhausted in the musculature. The
time 25-foot walk test. The patient is directed to one end of a clearly marked 25-foot, about 7.5 meters, course and is instructed to walk 25 feet as quickly as possible but safely. The task is immediately administered again by having the patient walk back the same distance. The time is calculated from the initiation of the instruction to start by the examiner and ends when the patient has reached 25-foot walk. The test will be done once, back and forth.
mark, get set, go. Good. Okay, now stand with your toes on the line. Okay, on your mark, get set, go. Good. Stand with your toes.
The patient may use a state-sting device when doing the task. If possible, the examiner should walk alongside the patient in order to make the test more reproducible. The Romberg test. The patient stands up with his feet close together and both arms extended in front of him/her pointing fingers. Eyes are closed. On the start command indicated by the examiner, when the stopwatch is started, the patient closes his/her eyes and holds the position during 10 seconds, trying to maintain balance. The MYO device is placed on the dominant arm.